Hello, welcome to Working Help Desk Tickets with Irvin, also known as Kobuman. We're going to learn more and more about help desk. I believe this is number 8 in the series, and we're definitely going to keep learning more because there is definitely a lot to learn if you want to work help desk or even if you want to start an IT career as an IT support. All right, let's keep it going. That's all there is to it. We're going to start a new year strong. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irvin, also known as Kobo Man. Happy New Year to people who are watching this shortly after New Year, and even if it's later, Happy New Year anyways. We're going to continue with our help desk training in which we talk about trouble tickets. We're working real life trouble tickets. Most of these tickets you see here are submitted by real people, and this is a real ticketing system, and the experience is real that I bring to you for free. So what we're going to do is work the system just like we normally do. And if you haven't watched my previous videos, I believe there are 7 other videos in this series already. So you might want to start watching from there to maybe, get some basics down if you haven't watched them. And, especially if you're new to help desk. Okay, so we're going to do this here. And if you got a moment, please in the comments, let me know that, just say hi, hello, present, just to let me know that people are still interested in this type of content so I can keep making it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And for those reasons, whenever you guys leave a nice comment or just say hi, then I can also feel motivated to spend more time. Okay, all right, let's get into it. First ticket here, excuse me, we have is Outlook issue. Now keep in mind, we're going to talk about these issue in a way where I provide multiple solutions, multiple possible solutions. To keep the video going, obviously I can't access these people's computers and stuff, because time constraint, organizational issues, and all of that. Okay, first thing first, I'm going to assign a ticket to myself. Excuse me, my throat is getting dry a little bit here. And this ticket is from Ryu Tao. I hope I said your name correctly. Thank you very much for submitting this ticket. And it's Outlook issue. Every time I search for people in Outlook, it freezes my Outlook. I turned off the hardware acceleration and I turned off cache mode, repaired Outlook, repaired Office, and uninstalled and reinstalled Office 365, no change. So what he's talking about here, and I'm going to zoom in video in post. Well, maybe I can zoom in here a little bit. Here we go. Well, it's all blurred out. But every time you use Outlook to search for people, what the computer does in your app, it goes through the database, in this case of people who are in Outlook, like contacts and such. A computer, the way it does this is through indexing. What indexing does on a computer, it goes through the words within the documents, and it kind of caches them, meaning that it saves that information for later so we can access it faster. So instead of going through, thousands and thousands of different documents and stuff like that, it will store this data in an index. And I'm going to pull it up how it looks like on the computer itself. If you just type in index in search bar, it will come up. This is just indexing option on your computer. So, and indexing heavily depends when it's doing it. When it's doing it for the first time, heavily depends on the speed of your computer. And looking at the screenshot here, it kind of looks like he's using, well, he mentioned he's using the actual application on the computer. So in this case, it is using your computer to search use indexing to search through Outlook for people, for contacts. Now, it sounds like you've already done some troubleshooting, which are, definitely some things I would look at. Search it says, I turned off hardware acceleration. Now, hardware acceleration is usually a good thing, but it can cause a problem. I've seen hardware acceleration cause a problem in like things like a video playback and this and that. But if you turn off hardware acceleration, what it does, it turns on software acceleration, which can actually be slower. So, but I'm assuming you kind of went on the internet and tried different things, which is perfectly fine. In this case, I don't see it causing a problem at all, even if you keep it turned off. And then you turned off cached mode, which it stops the Outlook in this case from caching any data, like, for faster access. Caching, that's what that is. Every time you cache something is like you save it for later so it's faster to access, similar to indexing. But it's usually used for like data processing rather than word search. Indexing is specifically used for word search. Well, the word indexing comes from literally index, like on your book. When you open up a book, there's an index on it of things that are inside the book. Like the first page you open, and there is the first thing you see is an index. Chapter 1, blah, blah, blah. Chapter 2, blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. And you repair the office, which as a last resort, you can certainly do that. Uninstall or reinstalled Office 365, which inherently reinstalls the Outlook. And there is no change. So what else could be the issue? Now, let me just kind of go through here. I'm going to click here where it says, how does indexing affect searches? Just to kind of talk about it a little bit more. But we'll see if we have a solution for this, because this is something you have to try on your computer. And here it is. Just to kind of go do an overview, what information is indexed. By default, all the properties of your files are indexed, including file names, full paths, and full file paths. For files with text, their content is indexed to allow you to search for words within the files. See, it's kind of the same thing that I just kind of mentioned. And it says here which apps use index. It says here many of the built-in apps on your PC use index in some way, including File Explorer, Photos, and Groove, and I don't know what Groove is. It uses it to access the track changes to your files. Microsoft Edge uses it to provide browser history, results, and address bar. And Outlook uses it to search your email. So this kind of tells us that Outlook does use it, but doesn't say specifically that it's using it to search for people. Now, typically, and we can't verify this because I don't have access to your computer, and what I'm about to say, I certainly don't have access to. But judging by your screenshot, you're selecting filter email. Filter email. That's what you're doing here. Not necessarily using the address book, which I assumed initially, but according to your screenshot, and it's very blurry, but I really appreciate you submitting it. It kind of seems like you're searching through the email itself, which again is locally. And if that's the case, the indexing and the search function itself is going to heavily depend on the speed of your computer. Now, if this was not an issue before and it worked fine before, then you might want to look at the background services to see if there's anything in the background that's using up your computer speed. And I've done this many times in these videos where you open up a task manager and you simply see if there is enough resources available. If you click on performances, sometimes you can have an issue where you have, for example, 16 gigabytes of RAM. You have installed 16 gigabytes of RAM, but suddenly it's showing like half of that. It could mean that one of the RAM sticks died and suddenly your computer's slowing down. Not necessarily the case here, but this could be the situation. The other thing I wanted to mention is when you're searching for people in Outlook, especially if you're using a web version of Outlook. In this case, I know you're not, but just to kind of explain it to you, if it's trying to fetch data from a server that has this cache data for people, if you're searching for people, email addresses as such and such, especially in Office 365, this stuff is going to be stored on a server, on Office 365 server, which could be an issue as well. Now, besides actually having direct access to your computer, looking at all these things that I've mentioned, I'm not sure what else I could do here to help you, unfortunately. You can look at the indexing options here and you can select modify here, and then you can make sure that things are being indexed. For example, if you see it here when it says local C and then expand all of this, you can see that in this case what's indexed right now is just users. Right? And you could try, if you have Office 365, navigate through there, through program files x86, and I don't have Microsoft. I don't have Office 365 installed on this particular computer, but you can navigate to it and just do a check mark like this, click OK, and then that will specifically index all the folder that you've selected and everything inside of it. If you can navigate and find Outlook, specifically Outlook EXE, then you can try that. Unfortunately, I don't have access to it, and it sounds like you've tried a lot of things already. See, is this a better picture? No, it's not. That's okay. So, that being said, I would have to have a direct access to your computer in order to resolve this. So, I'm not sure what to do with this ticket here, because this is one of those things I can't necessarily just close and call it a day, because I haven't resolved the issue and I don't have a definite resolution for you, because I'm not 100% confident that the advice that I've given you would actually resolve your issue, because there might be some other factors that I would look at first aside from Outlook, because it may not be the Outlook itself that's causing the problem, assuming that you've done all of these things already, which you've already said, repaired Outlook and reinstalled it and all of that. So that being said, I would look at the resources locally and possibly a server being just too slow, but I don't know. Again, your screenshot here is slightly confusing, but I don't know if you're searching through emails or just for people. I know you said people, but I don't know. I simply don't know. So I'm going to reply to you, and this is a little bit unorthodox. That means unusual. When you're doing help desk, you wouldn't necessarily do this, but in this case, I'm just going to say, please try all the things I've mentioned in the video. It will be released tomorrow. I'm going to leave the ticket open. If you have updated information about your issue, please update the ticket. Thanks, Irvin. So that's what I'm going to do. As I've mentioned this many times ago, and this is why I say watch my previous videos, in order to have access to this person's computer, you'd have to find a way to do it, whether it's connected directly using like a link or some kind of software that allows you to get access to it. For example, remote control software, like in this case I have Dameware, and then you can use computer's name or IP address or send them a link that allows them to let you connect to their computer, take control of their computer. And yeah, I'm going to leave this ticket open. It's still assigned to myself, so I'm going to look at unassigned issues and move on. Sometimes you come across issues in help desk where you just can't resolve. So you kind of got to play it like it is, until you come across a solution, until you can see it yourself, until you can take full control. If you're tier 1 help desk, I'm not even sure that you're allowed to, in some cases, you're not even allowed to take control of person's computer. So you may even have to forward the ticket to tier 2, tier 3, or whatever, or even local tech that supports these people. Okay. This ticket is from Wency Bolante. Thank you very much for submitting it. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. It says MFA, and it says company implementing MFA to our system, but I do not know how to create one. Please help. So every time you're not, like, it's okay, every time you're not familiar with what some acronyms mean, in this case MFA, you can always just do a Google search the web for it. But in this case, MFA stands for Multifactor Authentication, and it can be set up in multiple ways. Depends if you're the person who's creating or setting up multi-factor authentication in the system. You know, if this is, I'm not sure. It kind of seems like your company. It says company implementing MFA to our system, but I do not know how to create one. It almost seems like you're in charge of setting this up. Depends on for which system. That's the question. Depends for which system. Oh yeah, of course I need to assign a ticket to myself. Depends for which system. I can show you how it's done in Office 365. You can do this if you have access to it. Now, if this is a multi-factor authentication system that is proprietary to your company or some other third party, then you would have to be more specific and tell me which one it is, because I don't know how to create one either, because I don't know which system you're talking about in this sense. And I mean that in the nicest way. Now, if you're just somebody who's going to be given or forced to use MFA, multi-factor authentication, all that is, you know, before you can log into something, it requires you to put in a, for example, security code, which could be a randomly generated number, or it could be a text to your phone sent. So, you know, whenever you try to log into something, before you can log in, it has to verify that it's you. So it sends a code to your phone, and with that code, you have to add on top of your password so you can log in. So it's a multi-factor. Means there are multiple ways, or multi-factor. It's not multiple ways, but multi-factor is in you need more than the password to log into something. That's what MFA stands for. That depends on that. So, all right, like I said, I'm going to show you in Office 365 how it's done. Okay, so here is an example. I'm literally logging into Office 365, and it has a multi-factor authentication. You probably heard that ding. And what that did was open up my Microsoft Authenticator, which is on my phone. In this case, all it does is just looks at my face, verifies my face with the face authentication, and allows to log in. So all I did was just look at my phone, and it did it. You know. Otherwise, it may ask you to put in the code, the website itself. So in this case, I have a Microsoft Authenticator installed on my phone, and the way I authenticate is just by look at it. It just verifies my face. And you've seen how it just kind of switched to it. You can reduce the times it asks you to sign in, and you can just click this here. All that does is just helps you stay signed in without having to verify all of this over and over again. It remembers that your device and your browser are used. That's what it does. And from here, we're going to select Azure Active Directory. So we're going to go in there. So if you go down here where it says Admin Centers, select Azure Active Directory. And from here, we're going to select Azure Active Directory within it. Now, from here, we have to go scroll down a little bit under the overview here, and then select security, obviously. All right, where this because this is part of security to have a multi-factor authentication. And then while we're at security tab or selector security option, I'm sorry, uh, we simply need to look for MFA, and it's right here. We select that, and then we enable it from here. Now, I apologize, I did lose some of these licenses, access to the. I had 90-day license for Office 365 for training purposes, and you simply go in there and just enable it, and there may be one or two options in there for you to activate, and this will enable multi-factor authentication in Office 365. Here, you can see that I can't do it because I no longer have the license, but it's right here. It's very simple, and then users will be forced to use multi-factor authentication just like I did, just like I had to use it in order to log in to Office 365. So going back to your ticket, you're going to simply have to figure out the things that I've mentioned previously, as in, is this something that you're going to have to use? If so, you can actually just select to use multi-factor authentication just for yourself, and that's fine. You can do this for any, pretty much any, website, any software that has this feature enabled. So if it's something that you want to use, you just select, when you try to log in or go to your account, you can enable, multi-factor authentication. So that being said, I don't know which software, which website or whatnot you're trying to set up or configure. So I'm going to actually close this ticket, but I will say, reply to you, please set up MFA according to what the system requires. If now, and this is like me as if I'm talking to a customer, but Wency, hopefully you watch this. Hopefully you watch this. I'm going to say also, try all the things I've mentioned in the video. Otherwise, you may need to ask your, I'm going to say, coworker or supervisor for assistance. Mainly because I don't know which system you are using. Otherwise, it should be straightforward to enable MFA. And if it's a system, and if it's a system that you're not familiar with, Google it. There's nothing wrong with Googling, what that system is. Just because I don't know which system you're talking about, it doesn't mean that there isn't a solution for it on Google. Google is your friend. Google is your friend. So I'm going to close this one and move on. All right, unassigned issues. Let's do one more, maybe two more. We'll see. I think I'm going on 30 minutes. I don't want to make this super long. All right. So I got one from Michael C. Thank you, Michael. All right. It says here, I performed factory reset on my desktop because I couldn't remember my password. Now, Michael has some personal information here, which I'm going to blur out. I'm not too worried about email, but I'm going to blur out your cell phone number, just for for your safety. I don't want you to get spam calls or this and that. I have HP Omni 120 all-in-one desktop, which came with Windows 8, so it's a few years old. After years of not using it, I turned my PC on, but could not remember the password. I decided to perform a factory reset. Okay. Reset completed. I created a new login and password and activated Windows. Given this system hasn't been used in years, Windows and antivirus are both in need some major updates, maybe even an upgrade. Could you please help me with this? Could you please help me with this? This PC hasn't been brought online since I wanted to make sure it's first set with appropriate configuration. A restore point created, and I wasn't sure if certain steps need to be followed in order to update in the safest way. So Michael, it's actually not that complicated, and I think you did the right thing. I mean, if you don't remember the password, you don't remember the password, so you reset the computer in the sense where you basically deleted everything and installed a fresh operating system. It's an older computer, obviously, since it had Windows 8 installed on it. So, and you know, what I would do for minimum, I would install Windows 10 fresh install, and you can download this ISO. And it sounds like you've done it already. I would not use Windows 8 for sure. I would not use Windows 8 for sure. So you can go to Microsoft and update to Windows 10, or install fresh Windows 10. And then after that, you might want to actually look into it if the current ISO, meaning the image installation of the Windows 10, if the current one is not up to date, I would look at using Windows Update Assistant. Windows Update Assistant will actually update Windows 10 to the most current version, which is a major release version. Is not necessarily something that comes on ISO or the initial main image of the computer for the operating system, I should say. So that will install the most current version of Windows 10. That will ensure that that happens. So it's called the Windows Update Assistant. I'm going to go to Google, and I'm just going to use the Windows Update Assistant. This is also used for people who have broken updates, people who cannot install updates. This can happen sometimes. And for that, you just go to here, do exactly what I did here, get Windows 10 Update Assistant, and just download it. The link is right here. Download the Update Assistant, and just run it, and then it will install, download and install the most current version of Windows with the major updates on it. After that, just go to Updates. Just go check for updates. Make sure that it does, make sure it's up to date like this one here. And obviously, and I wanted to mention this as well here, that Windows, or that computer that you have, will not be able to install Windows 11. I understand Windows 11 is the most current operating system, but it will not allow you because it doesn't meet the minimum system requirements. What this is about, the main reason people can't install Windows 11 is because it requires this piece of it's hardware, which is just a chip that requires secure boot, that allows secure boot, makes it's a security thing. Okay, I wouldn't worry about it right now, but it's an older computer, and I don't want to get into this Windows 11 thing at this point. But just make sure that Windows is up to date here, and this will do it for you. And then you can just reboot, make sure it's done. You don't have to worry about antivirus because Windows has built-in antivirus that seems to be fine. It's called Windows Defender. It does everything in the background. You don't have to worry about it. It can cause issues sometimes if you have a slower computer where it would run and it would take up a lot of resources in the background. But try it, and if it doesn't cause you problems, then you just use that. And if it causes problems, there are some alternatives that are light on your computer when it comes to antivirus. Like I think I use ImmuNet. It's very light and it doesn't take up a lot of resources, and it's not intrusive. It's made by Cisco, and besides that, I don't. Restore Point is created automatically for you. You don't have to worry about it. That's enabled by default. And that's it. That's it. Windows will install everything. unless you, even the drivers for like hardware that you have. But if you have like a webcam or a GPU that's installed on it, you might want to download those specifically from the manufacturer. So look up the name of the hardware that you're using. Just Google it, and after that, just type in driver, and it's gonna take you to the website for that. If you're having issues, otherwise, I wouldn't worry about it. It's an older computer, and if you can install a solid state drive on it, it's going to make a huge difference when it comes to performance. Windows 8 probably has just a regular hard drive, but if you get a solid state drive, you can increase the performance by a lot. And if you're interested, I'm going to put a link to that, or just look at my hardware. In my description of this video, there's just a list of things that I have on my computer, and just pick any of those Samsung solid state drives. So it's basically a link that's just going to say this is my setup or something. I forget what I put on there. So that's what I would do. Oh, there's a screenshot. Okay. I'm sorry, I almost missed that. Okay. Oh, okay. So this means here, it says here, spyware and unwanted software protection. Windows has detected that you don't have any anti-spyware installed to help protect. So what this is that what this means that you have. Oh wait, do you have Windows 7 installed on here? This almost, the bar kind of reminds me that it might be Windows 7. I would definitely install Windows 10. But what this means is that the Windows Defender is turned off. That's what this means. So if you turn on Windows Defender or install a free antivirus, you can do that. Again, it's called, the one I use sometimes, it's called ImmuNet. Here, I'll show you. Again, they're not sponsored. This is just ImmuNet. Here it is, ImmuNet antivirus. If you just want to get it done with and not worry about, enabling the Windows Defender, which I can show too, just go to here and download this, install it. It's fine. I've used it for years. That's the only reason I'm saying this. And you do have here, it says Windows Firewall turned off or set. Huh. Yeah, definitely. Well, you do look like you have a bunch of stuff, other stuff installed on here too. This might be Windows 7 machine that I'm looking at here. I'm not sure if it's Windows 7. Windows 7 is no longer getting updates, just so you know, if it is Windows 7. I would highly suggest installing Windows 10 and update it like I showed you with the Windows Update Assistant. That's what I would do for sure. This shouldn't be coming up unless you disabled it yourself. Yeah. I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's a good enough explanation. Assigned to me. Okay. All right, I'm going to reply. I'm going to close this ticket. I'm going to say hello, Michael. I'm going to say just make sure that Windows updates are installed, just like, and very unorthodox the way I'm leaving a message here, because this is a very specific situation, me on the video, just like mentioned in the video. So step 1, update Windows 10. Step 2, what did I say for step 2? There was definitely a step 2. Update Windows 10. Step 2, turn on Windows Defender. or install free antivirus. I hope that helps. Okay, I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna close this ticket to resolved. Okay, guys, I think I've done three tickets, and I'm gonna leave it there so that way I can have 2 more videos after this. Please, guys, submit tickets so that way we have more issues to talk about. It really helps me a lot. It really makes a big difference. Once we run out of this, then we'll see. We'll see. If I don't have more tickets that I can think of on my own, and you guys are not submitting tickets, then there may not be any more videos like this. Because I need to come up with a way to create more content is basically what I'm saying. All right, thank you all for watching. Thank you all who became members, who are still supporting me. And what else? I think that's it. Happy New Year. I wish you best wishes to you and your family. Stay safe out there and take care. Bye-bye.